Hi and welcome to Polly Puts the Colour On. In this video I'm going to be sharing all of the buddy colours that I've done kind of since I started YouTube. So it is going to be quite a long video, so I'd get a drink and a snack. So while I do kind of the intro and kind of the outro, I'm going to be working on a page out of Matchstick Mouse, a costume, goodness me words, a costume party colouring book. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And I thought I would work on this cute fox page. I also just thought I'll mention some of the channels, some of the people that I've done the buddy colours with. Apologies if I miss anybody. I did only start keeping my colouring planner in September. So if the buddy colour was before then, unfortunately, I've not got it written down. I will try and look back through my videos and link everybody that I can down below. So, check out their channels, go and show them some love. But I've definitely done buddy colour with Vera over at Zufira Arts. So check out her channel. I've done buddy colours with, let me find the next section, that was in September. In October, did buddy colour with Kate at Kate's Colouring Pages. I've done a buddy colour with Alison at Alison's Colouring and Creativity. I've done buddy colours with Amanda at All J Art. I've got quite a few Instagram buddy colours as well. So again, I'll try and link their Instagram profiles down below. It'll be quite a big list, but it was well worth you going and checking people out. I think I've done a few buddy colours actually with Kate at Kate's Colouring Pages. I have done a buddy colour with Kate at Kate's Colouring Haven as well. And let's keep looking, and then I'll colour a little bit on this cute little fox. Also done buddy colours with Jas at Colouring Bumblebee, and Jodie at Jodie Moments. Off the top of my head, I think that's about all of the YouTube channel. Oh, and Amanda at Amanda Colours. I think that's about all of the YouTubers that I've done buddy colours with. Again, apologies if I've missed anybody. I think I've managed to catch everybody. But I will link everybody down in the description, because I can look back through my videos through their descriptions and kind of copy and paste. But I can't do that at the minute because with recording I haven't got enough screens. So probably won't finish this, but I just thought it'd be nice to start it with you. And then you can keep a lookout for it on my completed pages for January. So I thought, obviously here Matchstick Mouse is as a fox, and I'm thinking I'm just going to colour all of kind of their fur pretty much as a fox colour, rather than trying to do any kind of brown. And a fox colour that I do quite like in my Ohuhus is the quince colour Y4. Now I do have my Ohuhus are not like super old, but obviously I think it was a few months ago Ohuhu updated their coding system, I believe. So mine, if you've got a newer set, like my daughter got hers in October, and her codes and numbers just don't match mine at all. But for mine, I'm using Y4 quince, and I'm going to use that for a good chunk of Matchstick Mouse. And I do love in my Matchstick Mouse books, same as with my Cute and Cozy books, I'm just using alcohol markers. Not necessarily doing any pencil shading. I do sometimes, but quite often I don't. A bit of gel pen, maybe a bit of paint, sparkly paint or something, but I don't tend to, worry about making them a masterpiece. For me, they are cute, fun, quick, simple, happy images that just bring me a lot of joy to colour. And you can see how quickly this page is already taking shape. Yes, it's not going to be, a really fancy page, but I'm having fun doing it. Matchstick Mouse is just adorable. Can't help but have a smile on your face while you're colouring this. So yeah, just wanted to do this video really as a big thank you to all of my buddies, to showcase off their pages again. And just as a big thank you to all of my buddies for buddying with me, because it is very much appreciated. It is kind of one of the reasons why I set up my YouTube channel, was to make some colouring friends, because like a lot of people, I don't know anybody kind of in the real world, so to speak, who does adult colouring, or even kind of anything all that creative really. So it's been really nice getting to know people kind of via just comments on videos, people who've messaged me on Instagram, but also doing those buddy colours and chatting about our pages. It has just been a lot of fun. So if you are wanting to do a buddy colour with me, or I'd say even if there's somebody else you're wanting to do a buddy colour with, don't be shy, reach out. I'm sure whoever it is you're wanting to do a buddy with will be absolutely thrilled to hear from you. And if I'm always up for doing a buddy colour, it might just be that perhaps I'm a little bit busy and can't do it right away. There's only so many hours in the day, and I don't want to overcommit myself. I work as well, obviously, family and everything, but always up for a buddy colour. Like I say, even if we set it up for like in a few months' time, I'm up for it. So just drop a comment, get in touch with me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is the same as on here. Polly puts the colour on. So I'm just going to swap to the pink now, the RV260 for in the ears and the nose. So yeah, just get in touch with me. We can sort out what books we've got in common, what artists we've got in common, try and sort out a page. It's just a lot of fun. I really recommend doing a buddy colour if you've not done one before. But yeah, a big thank you to all the people who've buddied with me in 2025, and indeed anybody who's buddied with me even before I was on YouTube. So I think I've buddied with Jodie at JI Colorist at least a couple of times, I believe, kind of even before I was on YouTube. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I'll just finish off the fur of Matchstick Mouse, and then we can get into looking at my actual buddy pages. There we are. Sorry, I couldn't find the colour I was looking for. So I'm going to go for the cream YR240. At least that's what the code is on mine. Although it's called cream, and like it isn't actually all that cream, but I think it is going to be a pretty colour for Matchstick Mouse's little costume. I'm imagining that they're kind of in a bit of a onesie here. So let's just finish the fur, and then we can get into sharing the buddies, because it always amazes me. Just you start with the same page, and then they can just turn out sometimes quite similar, even though you've not necessarily shared the page till you've finished. So it's not like you've copied each other, and sometimes they just turn out so differently, and it fascinates me that you start out with the same page and it can just go in such different directions. So I'll leave you there, and past Polly will catch you up with all of the buddy colours. Again, a big thank you to everybody who's ever done a buddy colour with me, and definitely go and check out all of their channels below. It was set up as a buddy colour with a wonderful JI colorist, and obviously I'll tag her channel as well in the description. When we picked this page, neither of us had really noticed that it was actually a double page, and then when I came to colour it, I was like, hang on a minute, I'm sure some of the bits here, because this was a page we'd initially picked, that some of the bits on this page are over here. Looked at it a bit more carefully, I was like, oh, it's a double page. So
sent a message over and it's like, I'm going to do the double page, but don't feel like you need to, because obviously we had just agreed to do this one, but as it turns out we have both done both pages. I suppose it's one of those things, while you've got the things out to do this side, it doesn't always take that much longer to do the other side, especially if you know the background, obviously you can carry it over, the bushes you can carry over to the other side, can't you? So it doesn't always take that much longer, does it, I guess? So I will try and work out how to insert the photos of J.I. Colorist's her version here. And it was really nice to see. We did send each other some progress shots as we were going through. You know, I sent a picture going, I've done a tiny bit, I've done a tiny bit more, I'm not really getting anywhere with it, and then all of a sudden it seemed to come together. And it's really interesting to see that actually we've gone for pretty similar colours on the characters. I'm guessing we were both kind of inspired by the Disney version. Obviously the roses, people's first thought is kind of red roses as well, isn't it? So we have used a lot of the same colours, but then because we've used different colours on the fireworks, I think they still turned out quite differently, even though there is a lot of similarities, which is always one of the cool things to see with buddy colours, isn't it, on how similar and how different they can sometimes turn out. So I used a lot of Inktense and Graphitint to kind of base everything, just to speed it up a little bit. On the bushes I put just a tiny little bit of oil pastel then over the top, which you probably can't really tell, and then sealed it over the top. It just kind of helped smooth out the Inktense a little bit, because it was looking a little bit patchy, but I didn't want to do a second layer of it, because then I thought it might turn out a bit too dark. Even did Inktense on the roses, and then just did a little bit of shading over the top on the buildings. I actually used some water soluble pencils, some watercolor pencils from, we can get the packet, the Swiss Colour Aquarelle ones that I've recently done a video on. There's quite a nice light peachy colour, which is what I used for the skin. Did a very light layer, and actually I'm really pleased with how that turned out, because I'm not confident at doing skin, so that was just enough colour for me, because I wanted to keep the focus on all the nice bright fireworks. Just did a black acrylic pen background, and then all the gorgeous shine of these fireworks that you can see on both pages are paints by this company here, Dracula, as in like Dracula, and it's this set here, the Deadly Sins. So I used the blue and the pink and the gold, and also the lighter pink as well. As you can see, nowhere near having them used up, but you can see that I have made a little bit of a dent in those colours. So I will link their shop in the description as well if you want to check them out. Bought a few things off that company, really good service, really happy with the quality of their paints. And then I just used a cheap kind of pale pink for the banners. To be honest, I wasn't really sure what they were. But yeah, really pleased about that. So you can see why this took me so long, because there was a lot to do, getting around all the little windows, but really pleased to have a double page spread done in this book, because there's just some gorgeous artwork in it. Anybody ever wants to do buddy colour in an eerie book, please let me know. So then I've got a matchstick mouse page. This was all done with alcohol markers. So it's from the summer matchstick mouse one, and it's this one. So there is a monthly hashtag on Instagram, I believe by Julianne Annette Art. I will link it in the description down below. I think she's got a YouTube channel, so I'll link that. So I used all alcohol markers, as you can see on the back. Didn't really do any shading with the alcohol markers, just flat colouring with the alcohol markers. Came in and added a little bit of pencil shading, but not very much, or just a tiny bit really on the ground, to be honest. Went over the mountains with kind of white and silver gel pens, and then a white gel pen over the edge of the clouds, but I didn't colour the clouds in at all, just coloured the edge of them white just to get rid of the black lines. And then, as you can see, I put a fun washi tape at the top and bottom, and I'm really pleased with how that one came out. Do love the matchstick mouse ones. As you can see, I've been through all my matchstick mouse ones while I had the alcohol markers, and got the characters coloured on every single page, and some pages I've coloured the backgrounds. So when I do colour a matchstick mouse page, it's usually pretty easy, pretty quick for me to get one done. So this didn't take too long, and it was really lovely to be able to join in with the hashtag. Went over the eye with a black glittery gel pen, and so it was a quick one but a lot of fun to do. And then here I've got the first of one of my buddy colours for this month. So it was from the Matchstick Mouse Rainy Day colouring book. So I saw that Happy Catastrophe was planning on colouring this page, and got in touch with her because she said, you know, if anybody wants to buddy, get in touch. So I got in touch. We've set up a little group. There was 3 of us. I haven't had the page from the third person, but I will include that if I get it afterwards. I'm sure it's lovely. They said that they're close to finishing, so if I get it, I will include that as well, along with obviously their contact details. I have seen and received Candice's completed page, so I will include that here for you to have a look at. I just love how wonderfully cozy she's made kind of the inside the tent fort bit really look. Like, she really managed to capture a brilliant glow from the little lights. It just looks so snug and cuddly that I just feel like I want to get in there with them and you know, have a chat with them, see what they're up to, because it looks really cozy. As for mine, I used all alcohol markers, and then I did do some pencil shading over the top, a little bit of white gel pen. Used black glitter gel pen again on the eyes, as well as up on the little bug friend, and again just a fun washi tape at the top and bottom, because I always feel like I want to do a bit of something for the background, but the paper's not the best for doing too much, and because this washi tape's really chunky, it is hard to use it on a lot of my colouring pages. So actually a book like this is perfect, and I thought the colours match quite well, and it's like some cute little snacks that maybe they want to have if, say, they were going to end up having a sleepover in their little blanket fort. So it was a lot of fun to do, and it was really fun to buddy with it. So check out Happy Catastrophe if you don't already follow her channel, because it's brilliant. I do love seeing what she's getting up to, and the little clips that she shares of her chickens and Jack, her dog, is always a lot of fun to see as well. So there's that one from Matchstick Mouse. Then on to my second and last actually buddy colour. Oh no, actually no, take that back. I have got one more actually. This is my second, and I do have a third. Nearly forgot about that one. So we've got this one here from the Spooky Colouring book. So again, I saw somebody was planning on colouring out of this book, so got in touch with them. As you can see, I've done such a lot in this book. That's why there's all this wax paper between all the different pages. It is probably one of my most coloured in books, partly because the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, but also because it's single-sided and the paper's quite thick. There's such a lot you can do. You can use your alcohol markers, but you can use watercolour as well, because the paper's pretty good in this book. So my buddy colour was with Diane from Diane Dreams in Colour. I absolutely love what she did with her page. We messaged part way through. I was like, do you want to see what I'm doing? She's like, no, because I'm not too happy about mine, because she was trying something and she wasn't sure about it. But actually, I absolutely love what she did with the pattern at the bottom of her page. Like, she was so brave, and it just looks so cool. I think she did a brilliant job, and it was a lot of fun to buddy colour with her. So I did alcohol marker base for pretty much everything, as you can see on the back. Came in with just a little bit of pencil shading, not a huge amount, I did a little bit, and then a little bit of gel pen here and there, like on the little shell, for all round the edge of the bowl. And actually all in the background I used watercolours. It was just some cheap ones that my husband bought me. I think it was off Temu. I never know quite how to say it. So he got me a couple of sets, including this big one. So I think I used, it may have been that one for the edge, I can't remember. And then it was a few of the different blues and one of the purples, and I've splodged it around all on the edge. It wasn't quite the effect I was going for, but I think it's nice and bright and fun and cheery, and it was a lot of fun to do. So that was the main thing. So I knew I wanted a background, just wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So in the end, I was quite pleased with how it turned out, and do love this illustration in the book, so I was glad that I finally got to colouring in it, because I think axolotls, they just look hilarious, don't they? Because like they just look so weird with the little legs, the tails, the gills, like they just look like they're made up even though they're not. So it was a lot of fun to buddy, so thank you, Diane. Hopefully we'll do another buddy in the future, potentially in the new book perhaps when that comes out later on this year. So I did have a last minute buddy in this Precious Planet book by Miller Marotta. If you've not already seen on my channel, I've got part 1 and part 2 where I share all of my completed pages from all of my Miller Marotta books. There is quite a lot, which is why it's in a part 1, part 2. So if you do like Miller Marotta's books, maybe you're not too sure how to tackle them, because I know that's what a lot of people say, but actually I really love her art style. There is certain pages that like I know I wouldn't colour. Like, this is cute, but I don't know whether I would colour that. These are cute, but again, I don't think I'd colour it. I mean, I'd never say never. But the one that I did choose to do was this saber-tooth tiger. Now, the colours are a little bit out there. I used the Amanda Colour palette challenge for June. So it was all Prismacolors with a black gel pen and just a tiny bit of chalk pastel in the background, kind of to add to the sun. So it's definitely not colours I would normally choose, but I do love how bright and vibrant and different it ended up turning out. So I haven't quite got my buddies page, but I'm sure it's gorgeous. We've been messaging, they got in touch because they'd watched my video and I'd mentioned that I was hoping to get this one done, so they dropped him a message. So it was lovely to hear from them, and I'm sure their page is going to look absolutely amazing. If I do get a picture of it before this video goes live, I will obviously include it, but as of recording I haven't had it yet. But it was fun for somebody to get in touch. So yeah, it's not gone through the gel pen because it is relatively thick paper. So as you can see with the patterns, I just block coloured it, didn't bother shading, because I don't think it always needs it. Like her style of illustrations, they obviously you can do shading and do all of that, but I always feel like you don't need to. Like here again, I used colour palette from Amanda Colours, did this little one, lots of black colouring with my Prismacolors, which perhaps isn't the best use of Prismacolors, but you know, it helps me to stick to the colour palette, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Like, they can be a lot of fun to do if you just kind of get past that. It's not quite Zendoodly, I guess, but it's sort of Zendoodly with some of the patterns that she's got going on. You can see here with these, I don't know whether they're terrapins, turtles, little cuties, like the patterns on the shells and things. I just embrace the pattern and just kind of make it part of your colouring rather than stressing over what to do with those little details. Kind of pretend that they're not even there. So that was that one from Miller Marotta's Precious Planet. Cozy Seasons by Usuku. So the first one I did was just this really quick one, just using up my cheap alcohol markers. That some of them are starting to dry up, so I'm just trying to make use of them before they're all kind of, you know, no use anymore. So as you see, didn't do any shading, just a nice quick one just to say that that page is coloured. And then we come to the buddy colour in this book. So this was a buddy with Yolanda at Colouring Biker Mama. Absolutely love how hers came out. She added so much extra detail and depth to it. Our pictures turn out so differently. Like, I just went for quite quick, tiny little bit of detail, but not really much at all. She obviously spent a lot longer on it, and it really shows. Really enjoy doing a buddy colour with Yolanda, so hopefully we'll do that again in the future. So I used my all alcohol markers pretty much. Used my own Ohuhu ones. Little bit of gel pen here and there just to cover up a little bit of the black lines, but not massively. Little bit of gel pen added to the grass there, although it doesn't show that well on the camera. White gel pen detail, and then I just used some cheap metallic paints. I think I got off Temu Sheen, one of those kind of cheap sites. Just add a little bit to the sky, and then went over the black lines a little bit with a blue gel pen. It's not completely covered up the back lines, but it did what I wanted in that it kind of softened the finish a little bit. So this page was a lot of fun. There are so many really cool pictures. The only thing is, until the eyes are coloured, it does look a little bit creepy. I think that's the only thing when you compare this kind of cute and cozy style book to other cute and cozy ones. They've normally always got like the eyes coloured, or at least like a dot in the middle on their eyes, so it doesn't look quite as creepy. So they do look a little bit creepy, but as soon as you add the black in, it really does make a difference, because like the little, obviously the lion has got their eyes shut, but the duck did look a little bit creepy until I coloured their eye in. But then once you've done that, the pages just look adorable. So like I say, there is a flip through of that one on my channel, because I know this is one that you don't see quite as often. I saw this to start with actually on Yolanda's channel, which is why I got in touch with her about a buddy colour. So really glad to have that in my collection and have some pages finished in it. So then we come to another one of my buddy colours. This is with somebody off Instagram who got in touch with me after they saw my completed pages video from Johanna Basford. And we kind of picked out a page together and we went for this one. I must admit, this is not a page that I would necessarily have ever coloured if it wasn't for the fact that it was a buddy colour. So I'm actually really glad that somebody got in touch to ask if I'd do it, because once I got into it, actually I did really quite enjoy it. You might be able to, I don't know whether it'll pick up on the camera a little bit. I used an awful lot of gel pen on here, and the glitter from it is already transferring over onto the wax paper, which is a good reason why I put it there. So I just use water-based markers and then gel pens, and that's it. And this paper's pretty good. Hasn't gone through at all, even though, like I say, I used, you know, all this, the greens and most of the flowers are gel pen, but you see all the black, water-based markers, sorry, and then the black is all gel pen along with some of the other details as well. So it did take a little while, but once I kind of picked out what colours were where, actually then it was relatively straightforward, because obviously there was a lot of repetition. So my buddies page turned out really, really differently. I'll link their Instagram down below. They're the Colouring Orange. Their page really pretty. They went for a lot. Mine's kind of not necessarily autumnal, but I think with having the black on it, it kind of makes it look a little bit darker. Whereas they went for a background where the flowers kind of pop, but pop in a different way. And I really like the different colours that they used. And it's been quite a while since I've coloured in Secret Garden, so it was nice to get back into that one. So like I say, I have got completed page videos for all of my Johanna Basford books actually on my channel. So if that's something of interest, then check that out. Then we come to another buddy colour that was with somebody on Instagram, Kim on Instagram. I'll link her Instagram as well in the description below. So I'd already done this one, so when we were choosing a page and we went for this toucan, I thought that's quite nice, because then that means I've got a double page done. And I had been wanting to do this toucan for a while actually, so it worked out quite well. I did use my new acrylic paints in the background, so there is a video on the channel where I'm trying out my acrylic paints for the first time. It didn't turn out that smooth, so I have gone over with pencil. It doesn't look too bad now. It's definitely not quite as smooth as I'd like. I obviously need to practice a little bit more, but I do really love the colour. And then for the pencils, I use my new Black Edition pencils. They work really nicely actually on this paper. And then a little bit of glitter gel pen kind of around the edge of some of the leaves and around the edge of kind of the central design. A little bit of white gel pen. A little bit of black gel pen to make sure that the eyes are really nice and dark. But I kept quite simple kind of colour palette. Went a bit wild with the toucan, but I think he turned out really cute. It's a nice colourful summery kind of tropical page. And my buddies page equally turned out beautiful. Obviously with the toucan, you know, you kind of in your head you might think, oh, I'm going to colour it a different way, but then, you know, you picture what a toucan looks like and it's kind of hard to steer away from that. But I think my buddy did such a great job. very different finish to both of our pages, but that's the awesome thing about buddy colours, isn't it? That you're doing the same page, but then you're each doing your own take on it, and they turn out so differently. So thank you for doing a buddy colour with me, Kim, and for getting in touch. So that's my completed page in Magical Jungle. And then I did yet another buddy colour in a Johanna Basford book, which is really nice because this is one that I haven't coloured in much at all. Obviously, it's the newest one I've got from her. And it's gorgeous, but I kind of coloured in when I first got it, and then I haven't really come back to it. So this one's my page, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I mainly use my Castle Art pastel tint pencils, which is why I managed to get quite a muted, subtle kind of colour palette, because they work really nicely together. You know, we still use quite a lot of different colours, but you know, they're all it's a nice curated set, isn't it? And then some of the colours that I used down here are the colours that I used then up in the clouds. Added a little bit of watercolour, shiny watercolour paint on the bubbles, a little bit of acrylic marker, I mean, you can still see the lines, but it's just softened those black lines just enough there for how I wanted it, so they were just a little bit more subtle. And then obviously just pencil shading all down here. Use a little bit of, well, I say glitter gel pens on the shell, the crab and the starfish, but they're not very glittery, so they look pretty. And that's why they kind of pop a little bit more than the pencil. And then it was just pencil all in the background as well. So this was a lot of fun to do, and it didn't take too long because obviously I kind of got a couple of colour combinations together, put them to one side, and then just kept repeating them throughout the page. So this one's mine, and then my buddy this time was with Kate from Kate's Colouring Haven. Her page is equally just kind of a bit subtle, but subtle in a different way, and it just looks amazing. And I was so pleased when she got in touch saying that she'd like to do a buddy colour, because I've been watching her channel for a while, and it's, you know, it's really nice that anybody's watching my videos, but kind of especially when it's somebody that you watch, for you to know that they've seen your channel and they're enjoying your content, it really is putting a smile on my face. So yeah, that was really great to do a buddy colour with yet another person, and it means now I think that's only like my second complete page, because I did that one when it first came out, I've done that one, and then I've just done kind of the title pages at the start, and that's it in that one. So I'm really pleased to get like another actual page done in that one. And then we come to my last buddy colour for July, but it's by no means my last page that I coloured. And it's kind of the first page that I've done in Kirby. I do have Animorphia, which I bought right at the very start of my colouring journey, like absolutely years ago. And you can see, I did enjoy colouring it. I used just my cheap pencils, some cheap gel pens. You see the shading is, it's non-existent, but I had fun doing it. And then obviously I've not coloured in that for years. I do need to get back to it really. And I've kind of just got a little bit intimidated now by Kirby's work. I think now I'm just a bit more aware of how nicely the pictures could turn out. It kind of put me off a bit. But I saw this on offer on Vinted. Got it really nice and cheaply. So I thought, right, I need to get into it. And then Jess from Colouring Bumblebee got in touch. Said that she would do a buddy colour with me. So I thought, great, that's a perfect way of getting me into this book and kind of forcing me to colour in this book. So I gave her a few suggestions and we settled on this one. So I use my Inktense pencils for everything. Did a tiny little bit of shading with Prisma, but not a huge amount, to be honest. Used some gel pen on the eyes. You might be able to see the shine. A little bit of white gel pen detail, and then just an acrylic marker background. Did debate doing black, and then I thought, oh, I think that's going to be a bit too dark. So I thought if I went for the dark blue, it looked like it was kind of evening. Sun's definitely going down. It's not like sunset or anything, and I just thought it made everything pop quite nicely. And then I used some glittery watercolour paints for the trail of the snails on the leaves. And Jess's page is absolutely gorgeous. Kind of the frogs are a little bit similar, although she's put kind of more colours into hers, but then the flowers and the leaves, it's just saying as it's the same picture. It always amazes me with buddy colours on how differently then they can turn out, and obviously because she did a different colour for the background as well, that just gives the page like a completely different feel as well. So I was really pleased to do a buddy colour with Jess to get me into this book. So put a little bit more of my sparkly glitter paints up there as well. I think these ones are from the Art Spirits one. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of their glittery ones. Absolutely love them. They're great for adding details onto things. So yeah, really pleased to not only have this page done, but to have another page done as a buddy colour. And it's nice that now this is a touch book. It's not uncoloured anymore, so I don't need to feel guilty about having it on my shelf. So my only buddy colour that I did in August, because I knew that I was going to be away such a lot, I limited how many buddy colours I did to literally just one. So we got Fuzzy Meowies here, and it was with the wonderful Jess from Colouring Bumblebee, and we'd picked out this cute Alice in Wonderland page. So I used alcohol markers here, my Hoo Hoo ones, and then some white gel pen detail, and then some gold sparkly pen up there on the chair, and then some sparkly watercolour paint as well on the sugar cubes, and I'm really pleased with how they turned out. Wasn't too sure what to do with the colours. Kind of knew that I wanted the Alice character to be wearing blue, and then I just thought, well, I don't know, green, and kind of looked and thought, right, well, I'll go with purple, because I thought that'll go with blue and green, and I thought I didn't want to bring in too many other colours. So that's why I basically used the colours that were on their outfits to do like the teapots and the cups and everything. So I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And let me show you Jess's page here. I know she kind of thought the same as me of, you know, Alice Blue, and I wasn't too sure what to do, and then obviously her pages turned out beautifully. I know when she messaged saying she'd finished it, she wasn't too sure about the pink that she'd done for the table, but actually I think it looks really cool. It's given it a really nice bright pop of colour, so I really like how her page turned out. And it's always so lovely to see on buddy colours, like how, you know, the same page can turn out two completely different ways. It's always such a lot of fun. And the kind of the little paints that I used were little samples from a company called Archie Paints on Etsy. I'll link it down in the description below. And I just used various like little sample cards. She sells like bundles, like mystery ones, and although you'd think actually there's not a lot of paint on these bits of card, it goes a surprisingly long way. And what I do really like about it is it's a really good way of giving you lots of different colour, you know, different colours of paint, without spending loads on like massive palettes that you think, oh, I'm not going to use those up. And that it's given me lots of different colours to choose from. So I would recommend checking that out. So I did get a couple of pages done in the front as well. And I have started to try and remember to date my pages, which is something that I've literally only just started doing. So hopefully I'll get into the habit and remember to put the date on. So I thought, while I'd got the book out, got my alcohol markers out, I thought, right, I'll do like the first couple of pages. So I did this one here, the Rapunzel page, again, just alcohol markers, a little bit of white gel pen, and that was that on that one. Obviously, it did go through to the back, and there's kind of bits you could colour, but I kind of figured, well, I'm not really bothered about colouring them. I'd rather colour that cute image. And then here, again, I coloured the Book Belongs To page again, just alcohol markers, a little bit of white gel pen. That was a really quick one to do, not that exciting to be honest, because a lot of it was just black, but I do quite like how it turned out in the end. I think it's quite sweet. He looks so serious with his eyebrows. I think he looks quite comical, doesn't he? And then the colour test page, I don't think I'm going to colour in this book, unless I don't know, the mood might strike me one day, but I can't see me colouring that, because it's a bit boring, isn't it? They're all basically the same. So yeah, I'm not going to be colouring those in, I don't think. So yeah, I'm just going to need to get my planner back, because obviously I have got a few buddy colours and my memory is not that good to remember everybody's exact username. So The first buddy colour I've got is from Hannah Carson's Space book, which is just such an adorable little book. I do really enjoy this one. See, I've still not even done the title page. I do want to have a go at doing that sometime, because I do like to have the title pages done in all of my books. But the page that I buddied on was this cute one here. So as you see, I went very, very bright. And when I looked at the page, and I was like, oh, it's cute. Magic Space Bus, the Magic School Bus, not Space Bus. I'm thinking about Space 10, but Magic School Bus. Showed it to my husband, didn't say anything, and he looked and he was like, oh, it's Miss Fritz, it's a Magic School Bus. I went, yeah. So that's kind of where the inspiration for the colours, at least for the hair, came from. And I thought it'd be kind of cute to have the girl and the cat matching. And then I'd looked up a colour palette, and these were kind of the other colours that were suggested. And then I wasn't too sure what to do for the space sky, so I did go a little bit boring there, to be honest, with black and just shiny bits. So on this page, I used my Prismacolors actually for colouring all of this. To use some metallic pencils for the telescope bits, the Castle Art metallic ones, which I really don't use very often, because normally, like, if I want a shiny finish, I want a shiny finish. I'm going to use a paint or a gel pen. But I knew I didn't want to just use kind of standard pencils, but I knew I didn't want it being too shiny. So actually, I think they've just done the job. That was kind of the colours I was wanting, and yeah, it turned out perfect. Really like how the Prismacolors managed to do the wood, or at least a slight wood effect around the edge. And yeah, I used a black acrylic pen. I think I had to do 2 layers to get it a little bit smoother in the sky. But yeah, really pleased with that. And I used an acrylic marker as well, just for kind of the wall, because I wasn't sure what colour to do the wall. So I thought I'd just go cream, keep it a bit neutral, because obviously there's a lot going on here. Didn't want to bring out too many other colours. Now my buddy was Chrissy Wilcox 1103 on Instagram, so I will add her details down below. Her page, I'll insert that here, is just absolutely stunning. When she sent it through and I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so much better than my page. I just really love the effect and the colours, and it's just amazing. Like, we've both done the same page, but it both turned out so differently. But I know when I said to her about, yeah, Magic School Bus was the inspiration for mine, she was like, oh yeah, I can see it. And like I say, her page, as you can see, is absolutely gorgeous. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, definitely go and check her out, because she's very talented. So, and obviously that counted for Space Timber. And then we've got a page by Maria Troll, got Shooting Star. Not done a huge amount in this one, which is kind of why I'd picked this out for September. And ended up doing a buddy colour with 2 people. So this is the page that ended up being like a double buddy colour, which was really nice. So I'll talk about my page and then I'll share theirs. So I used my Supracolour watercolour pencils. So I've already had a few that I bought when I was on holiday in America last summer, and then I bought a few more this summer. So I've just got it here, and I've also got some of the cheaper standard ones, just the Swiss colour ones, not the more expensive ones. So you can see I've got quite a chunky amount now, so I'm kind of happy with that. I've got quite a lot of colours to pick from now, but as you can see, I did still stick like pretty, you know, plain, pretty muted. Just thought it looked like such a pretty page. I wanted to kind of keep it relatively light, and then just let this star really stand out. So I did a teeny tiny bit of shading on these bigger leaves, but that was about it really. Went over some of the lines with my Language gel pens. I think I coloured those little leaves in on these ones with the Language gel pens. Went over some of the lines down here, as you can see, and like on the axolotls. Then I used on the little bubbles in the water. Let me just double check, because I did do this one quite early on in the month. I think that was just a cheap watercolour paint. And then I've got that I use my Temu, I never know how to say it, like just the cheap gold paint there for the star. which isn't quite as shiny as some of my other, more expensive gold paints. But with it being such a big area, and actually with it being kind of a muted sort of picture, I thought actually that would still stand out quite nicely, and it is still lovely and shiny. And even with that paint on, it's not gone through. Like, obviously the page is a bit crinkly, but it's turned out really nicely, I think. And I've just realised actually I've forgotten to put a sheet of the wax paper, so let me get that out ready. So I'll share my 2 buddy colour pages here. So one buddy was with Zufira Art, so definitely go and check out her YouTube channel. I'll link her down in the description. She's absolutely wonderful. Her page is kind of a little bit similar to mine in that she went kind of a little bit more pale and muted, and hers just looks so pretty, really nice. Kind of saw hers and I was like, and it was before I started mine really, and I was like, oh, that was kind of what I was thinking of doing. And when then you've got it in, you're like, oh, I don't want it to look like I've copied her. But actually, although we've kind of used similar colours, they still look really different. Hers looks so pretty. And then the other buddy that we did it with was with Lisa's Colouring Nook on Instagram. Again, I'll link her down in the description below. Hers turned out so differently from mine and Zufira Art's page, like just so like bold and vivid in comparison. And it was just lovely to see like that one page coloured 3 different ways, and they've all turned out a little bit differently, even though really it is quite a simple image. Like there's not that much on there. So it was just amazing that they've all turned out quite differently. So I did do a little bit of a background as well. I just kind of scribbled some of the pencil onto my Caran d'Ache, the texture board, and added some water and just used it that way so that it was nice and light. But yeah, thank you to both of my buddies. It was a lot of fun doing it with both of you. Hopefully we might do another one together soon. I think I've actually already possibly got one lined up, I think, for next month. It's always a bit confusing, isn't it? It's the 1st of October. I think I've got one lined up for this month with Lisa's Colouring Nook. But I can't remember because my memory these last couple of weeks, I don't know whether it's my age or being tired or what, but yeah, not thinking straight. So now I've got 2 buddy colours in Fragile World by Kirby Rosanne's. They are 2 different pages though, so there is 2 pages to show you in this one. So let me find them. So even though I've not had this book for that long, I've already got 3 pages done in this book, which is just brilliant. So this one I coloured was a buddy. And I'll share my buddy's picture in a second. Now, I wasn't too sure what to do for this because obviously I was like, well, tiger orange. I think it turned out slightly more orange than I meant to, but then I thought, do I lighten him? And then I thought, actually, no, let's just go for it. I kind of like that he's a bit bold and then his teeth are really white and he looks a bit funny, but I suppose we all look a bit funny, don't we, sometimes? So I used Inktense pencils to base basically everything other than the sky. And then I went in, I didn't actually do any pencil shading on the leaves. What I did is I used my Langro gel pens. I'll just hold it up to the camera, hopefully it will show. So I used a more greeny colour on these ones to add like a little highlight. And then on these ones, I used it was kind of like a yellowy, limey kind of green, just to add a little bit of a highlight. And it's subtle, but I do really like the effect that it added. And it was a lot quicker than trying to shade with pencils, and a lot of fun actually, just picking a couple of pens and using them. As you can see, because I coloured the tiger orange and then thought afterwards to look at a picture of a tiger, like why I didn't do that before, I really don't know. But I think I just picked my pencils up and got carried away and realised, oh, I should have put some white in him. Like, I know tigers have a bit of white in them, but in my head I was like, oh, they're black and orange. So I went in with a white gel pen and just added a little bit of white in there on the chest just to lighten that area a bit. I did the tiniest little bit of shading onto the butterflies, but not a lot really. And I used a gel pen just to colour in the centre of their bodies. Then the background, I used chalk pastel because I couldn't decide what to do. I was going to do a blue sky and I thought it's a bit boring. I've got this bright orange tiger. let's just go for some colours in the sky. So trying to get a little bit of a sunset, sunrise kind of effect in the background. It's maybe not the best, but I kind of like the effect it gives. We've got a bit of red, orange going up to yellow. Once I'd done the chalk pastel, I thought, still doesn't look quite right. So I decided to get some watercolour, and as you can see, did a bit of splattering in the background. Not really sure what I was going for there, but I kind of like the effect it gives. There's nothing wrong with adding a little bit of extra sparkle, is there? So yeah, mainly Inktense pencils on this page, and then just some little sample watercolour paints that I've added a bit of water to for the background. So my buddy colours page I will show you now, and this buddy was with the lovely creativejoyus on Instagram. Again, I'll leave them down in the description. Obviously, you know, it's a tiger. It's one of those things you look at and it's a tiger. It's sort of kind of give you some ideas in your head of what colours to use, i.e. orange. So there is obviously some similarities between our picture, but I really, really love how they tackle the background, and I just love the effect they went for, like having the orange butterflies. It just looks brilliant. I'd kind of toyed with that idea and then decided not to, and I'm kind of glad, because then that means that our pages look, you know, they look more different, and their page is just absolutely beautiful. So definitely go and check them out on Instagram as well. So the other buddy colour that I did in Fragile World was this page, which is probably my favourite page out of the whole book. So I was really glad to colour this one, actually, because otters are my absolute favourite animal. So I coloured this one. Again, I used Inktense. I think with Kirby's style, that's probably what I'm going to stick mostly with, because, you know, there's big areas, but also because he's got all the textures and the patterns on, it kind of, you know, I've kind of found if I put Inktense down, I don't need to do too much else. So I did go in and do a little bit of shading with Black Widows on this, just subtly, really. A little bit on the crab, a bit on the fur, a bit on the leaves, just to deepen them up a little bit, but not massively. Used Inktense on the water as well. Obviously, I didn't up in the clouds. You can probably tell from the effect I got there. I used chalk pastel and just a little homemade, I've had it for a while, that's why it's looking a little bit battered. I probably need to cut a new one out soon. Homemade little cloud stencil that I made out of some card a while ago, and just used a few different shades of chalk pastel to add the cloud kind of effect in the background, which I really like how that looked. And then on the water and the bubbles, I used some watercolour paint, and I used, oh yeah, the bubbles actually were a glittery pen, I think from the Dollarama. And yeah, the paint on here, you can just see how lovely and sparkly that is. That is from a company on Etsy called Dracula, as in Dracula. Again, I'll link them down in the description if you want to check them out. They've got some gorgeous different paints and really quite reasonably priced as well, but they're still amazing quality. And I just love how shiny that comes out. I had you know, I kind of was tempted to try and do like proper water, you know, white foamy water, and then I thought, I don't know how to do that, and I don't want to ruin this page, so I kind of kept it nice and simple, but I still really like this page. So I'll share my buddy colours page here. Gosh, me and words today. Their page is absolutely stunning. I really, really love what they did with the sky. It was such a cool effect. I probably messaged about it. My buddy said that they'd actually got like a real life photo that they'd taken that was their inspiration, and they shared it with me. And yeah, I can really say they did such a good job in kind of mimicking what they'd seen in the real world on their sky. It was just amazing. So definitely check out plancreatecope on Instagram, because that's who my buddy was with. And then you can, you know, obviously follow them and see all the other gorgeous pictures that they do. So that's the two buddy colours I've done in there. So we're nearly done with buddy colours now. So then we're on to Erie's fairy tale book. And the page that I did in this one was the Wizard of Oz page. So I used my Arteza watercolour pencils to base pretty much everything. I used think there's like a peachy pink colour in my Supra colours that I used for the skin, but other than that I used Arteza watercolour pencils, went back in then with them dry to add a little bit of shading. The dress there, I used my Castle Art soft touch pencils actually to do the dress, because I thought about using the watercolour pencils, then I thought I want the dress to pop a little bit more. And then a bit of chalk pastel in the sky. For the flowers, I coloured the actual flower parts in with wax paper sliding. Coloured the actual flowers in with like really fine acrylic marker pens that I've got. Went over the little details on the grass with Languo gel pens, just to add a little bit of detail into there. And then, as you can see, up on the Emerald City, used various different gold paints that I've got. Some were from Dracula, and then one was a Renaissance colour paint. Again, I'll link both of them down below. Can't remember which one was which, to be honest, but they're both like really, really pretty greens. Obviously used a gold as well for like the windows and the flags, and I used that same gold down on the yellow brick road just to make that a nice shiny bit, and then added red, and that was definitely the Dracula paint as well. Just look how vivid and bright and shiny that is. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and none of those paints have gone through, because if you've got an Erie book, you know just how brilliant the paper is. So I'll share my buddies page here. My buddy was an Instagram buddy, I and my pets too. Again, their page was really, really pretty. It is kind of one of those pages that you look at, it's Wizard of Oz, and there's obviously going to be some similarities because, you know, it's Wizard of Oz. You picture the yellow brick road, you picture the green walls behind you. So there is a lot of similarities, but still also an awful lot of differences. And I think my buddy did an absolutely gorgeous job with their page. So definitely go and check them out on Instagram as well. And it's lovely to have another page done in this one, because I think the only other ones I've done is this double page spread here, and I think that's it. Yeah, I've not got around yet to doing the kind of introduction pages at the start. I do want to get those done at some point. Time's not on my side. Not enough hours in the day, is there? So my first buddy colour is out of this one. Now don't worry, we didn't do a particularly gory page at all. The page that we did was just the title page, so it's quite a simple one. But I was really pleased to get a page completed in this book this month, because it's kind of one of my unofficial kind of project books. I've kind of got Ivy and the Inky Butterfly as well. They're both books I would like to complete at some point, but you know, I don't set myself any targets on how many pages to do. But I was really pleased to get one done. So I used an Inktense base and then shaded with some Castle Art gold pencils just to deepen it up here and there. Obviously a little bit of white gel pen, and then a washi tape border. Was umming and ahhing over whether to do anything in the background, and then I thought, no, actually let's keep it nice and crisp and simple. So my buddy was with somebody on Instagram, King Sharon 9. I'll insert their picture here. They kind of went for a similar vibe in trying to keep, you know, the background kind of pretty crisp and clean, but I absolutely love what they did with their bow. I think it turned out gorgeous. So thank you very much for the buddy. I'm really pleased to get a page done in that this month. So that was Alan Roberts' Beauty of Horror, Guliana's Sanctuary for Monsters. I will link as many people as I can down in the description, in case you want to check out their Instagram or their YouTube channels, and I'll also link as many books as I can, in case you're after purchasing any. So this was one of my uncoloured books, Creepy Kawaii Halloween. I picked this one up in the summer while I was on holiday in America, and I did this page. So I did do this on a live stream, did check with my buddy, they were happy for me to do that, so that was really helpful actually, because then that just made it a little bit easier fitting in, getting this done. So I just used my Ohuhu Honolulu markers for everything, bit of white gel pen and a silver one for the mouse's whiskers. Started with a really limited colour palette, and I was struggling a bit, and somebody on the live stream suggested adding the green, and I'm really glad they did, because yeah, I was getting a bit stuck on what colours to put where. the colour palette I'd gone for was just a little bit too limited, and then added the weird glow behind it. I don't know, tried something a little bit different. I do absolutely love my buddies page. Theirs turned out so beautiful. So my buddy was with Hollyberry Crafts and Colours over on Instagram. I'll put their picture in here. I think their page turned out better than mine. I absolutely love the colour palette that they went for. I think it just looks so sweet, so cute, so Halloweeny. It looks wonderful. But that's the good thing about buddy colours, just how differently two pages can end up being, even though they both start out the same. So thank you very much for that, buddy. Then another buddy I did was in Cozy Japan, and again this was another one that was done on a live stream. Again, my buddy was happy for me to do that, so that was really helpful for getting a page, fit in. And this was another one that was an uncoloured book, and I really love how this turned out. Use my Ohuhu Honolulu markers again. I did a little bit of a glow effect coming from kind of the windows and the doors and the little lamp, and then tried to add a bit of a pattern into the water. It's not the best, but it's kind of one of the few times I've tried doing that with the water. I did a little bit of a pattern onto their clothing. I just really love how it turned out. I think it's just so pretty. Really gentle colours, and it was a lot of fun to do. So my buddy was with Kim over on Instagram. I think their handle is I and my pets 2, I believe. I can't read my own writing. Yeah, and their page I'll insert here. They went very different from me. A lot of sparkle, a lot of glitter gel pen, and again I just love how it turned out, and it's just so great how two pages start out the same and end up finishing looking so very different, but both really cool. So thank you very much for the buddy. I know that's not our first buddy, and I'm sure it won't be our last. So then I've got a buddy in Hannah Carlson's Tales from the Witch's Cottage, and that was this page here. So I used Inktense pencils to base everything, went in with a little bit of Castle Art gold pencils just here and there for a tiny bit of shading, and then a lot of glitter gel pen. And I even went over all the lines on kind of this potiony, dragony, swirly bit with my Langwo gel pens, because I just thought the black lines just, I don't know, didn't quite fit with it, but I didn't want to do loads of shading. So I thought, right, if I just pick a few gel pens that are similar, hopefully that'll do the trick. And I'm really pleased actually with how it turned out. I couldn't decide what to do for a background, so I decided I wasn't going to do a background. I'll just leave it as it is. And yeah, just really pleased with it. The shiny paint that you can see here, like the rose gold colour, that's a KJ Designs paint over on Etsy, and I'll insert my buddies page here, the wonderful Alison at Alison's Colouring and Creativity over on YouTube. Check her channel out if you don't already follow her. She's so sweet. And her page, she got hers done before me. She was very patient with me, and I love the colours that she went for, and I love the fact that she added a background in. I think it just really sets it off. And yeah, again, 2 pages starting out the same, turning out so very differently. So thank you very much for the buddy, Alison. I think your page looks great. Start. So my first buddy is from Rita Berman's Asia book, and it's with All J Art on Instagram and YouTube. So I'll link her down below. Go and check her out. She's absolutely wonderful. So did this page here, and I'm absolutely thrilled with how it turned out. Very different kind of colour palette, quite soft and muted. Used my Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils for these, trying to keep it relatively cohesive. I think I kind of started with the window because I kind of had a vision of how I wanted the mountains and things to look, and then I kind of started bringing those colours out, adding a couple more colours in, like for the curtains, and bringing those out. And yeah, just trying to keep it kind of limited. I kept my pencils in my little pouch that I tend to keep on my desk for projects that I'm working on. So yeah, really pleased with how it turned out. I used some watercolor paint on some of the shiny bits that you can see. And it was, let me double check what brand it was. It was just my cheap Timu paint, actually. Timu, I always butcher how you say it. Bit of white gel pen. But yeah, love how this came out, lovely and sparkly, and yeah, just really pretty. And I'll show my buddies page here. So as you can see, our 2 pages turn out so differently. Like hers is just so rich and deep and just like really cozy vibes. Like you can imagine being on that train maybe for a long journey, getting really comfy in those chairs. And yeah, absolutely love how she tackled the page. And that's a great thing with buddy colours, isn't it? You start with the same page, might have a very different vision, and yeah, they just turn out so differently, but both so cool. So yeah, that was my page completed in Rita Berman's Asia book, which is nice because I've not done a huge amount in that one so far. I think I've done that one, which was a colour along by My Colourful Country Life. I think I changed a couple of colours, but it's pretty much all her colour scheme. And then I think the only other one I've done is this one that I did in September, which I really don't like, but technically at least the title page is done. So I'm really pleased to have a page that I'm really proud of done in this book, because it is such a pretty book. So yeah, that was Rita Berman's Age book. Obviously I will link as many books as I can down in the description below as well. There will be Amazon affiliate links, but it won't cost you anything extra to purchase that way. So my next buddy is from this gorgeous, I always call it the Japanese bunny book, because I always forget to translate it, and I should really translate it and write it inside the cover, but I'm sure you all recognise it. It's such a cute book. My daughter's actually asked for a copy for Christmas as well, because she's kind of looked through some of mine and gone, oh, it's just so cute, look at the bunnies. So this is a buddy with somebody over on Instagram. They've actually done the double page. I haven't. I kind of did consider it while I was working, but kind of didn't get time. So hopefully, one day that other page will be done. But this is the page that we did here. So as you see, I did go quite boring, as my husband said. He looked at it and he was like, oh, that's not very exciting. I was like, yeah, but that's kind of what I was going for. I was going for like a vintage, quite minimal kind of colour palette. Just kind of letting the image speak for itself. So I based everything with Tombow water brush markers, actually, with my Tombow pens, and it's not come through, which is great. So yeah, based absolutely everything, and then a little bit of pencil shading and a little bit of gel pen, as you can see from some of the sparkle. And there's not much more to say about that, to be honest. It was just really relatively quick and simple. I think I based it right at the start of the month, but then didn't get around to shading it and finishing off until like literally the end of the month. It was one of those, it was on my shelf and I thought, I'll do that at some point, it won't take me long. And then yeah, it didn't take me long. It just took me a while to get around to it. So thank you for my buddy to for their patience. But yeah, really pleased with how it came out, and it's great to have a page done in there. So I will share my buddy's page here, and it is Crafty Caswell over at Instagram. And their page, again, so different than mine. I just love how they've managed to make it look as if it's actual stitching. I think that's so clever how they've done that. Like, I just coloured it as if it's just the normal part on the image, but they've really put the time and effort in, and as you can see, it's really paid off, because it does look like it's actual stitching. I think it's just fabulous what they've done. So yeah, big thank you to that buddy for helping me get another page done in this, because the only other ones I've done was a double page spread, but it was the ones just right at the start of the book. I think it's literally the first year. When I got it, I thought, right, I'll do those first couple, work out colours for the bunnies, which I have written down in case I want to use it again. But yeah, that's the only other bit I've done in that book, so it's nice to get back into that one. So then we've got my third buddy colour, which is with Kate over at Kate's Colouring Pages. Again, I will link her YouTube channel down below if you want to go and check her out. She's got some lovely videos, and she's not been on YouTube for too long, so it would be great if you went and showed her some love. So we did a page out of Catitude by Camilla Derrico. Absolutely love this book. I love all of Camilla Derrico's books.
because you can just really do a page relatively quick and simple and just have a great deal of fun doing it. So the page we decided on was this one here with the cat that got all soggy in the rain. Now, very different colour choices here. I don't quite know what I was thinking, but I just, you know, when you just want to sit and play, I just wanted to sit and play. So I realised that I'd picked these Crayola Super Tip pastel pens up kind of in July, I think it was. I've not really used them a great deal. So I thought, tell you what, I know this book works well with water-based markers. As you can see, it hasn't gone through. And I thought, oh, I didn't want to colour it just one colour. So I just kind of picked a few colours and just kind of splodged colours about. Went in with a bit of gel pen to add a bit of texture on the fur. Let me double check whether I think it was chalk pastel I used in the background. I do need to double check my notes because I did do this one quite early on in the month. Yeah, it was chalk pastels for the background, I thought it was. And then stickles on the puddles. So that's all that glitter you can see was stickles that I put on and then smudged out with my finger. And then I used glossy accents on the eyes as well. So kind of chucked a lot of different things at this page, but it didn't actually take too long. But I remember when I showed my daughter this page, I was like, oh, don't judge me on the colours. I thought I'd just go for like a crazy kind of looking cat. She looked and she was like, yeah, trouble is though, some of the colours you've picked makes it look as if it's a bit bald in places, like it's lost its fur and it's just its skin you can see. And I was like, true. I'd not really seen it that way. But kind of once she'd mentioned it, I couldn't really unsee it. But equally, I thought I didn't want to go in and change the colours. So, you know, that's what we're going with. So I'll share my buddies page here. Again, Kate has tackled the page so differently than how I did mine. Which again, the great thing with buddy colours. And yeah, just lovely, lovely vibrant colours that she's gone for. And yeah, obviously some similarities with the blue. But yeah, her cat obviously turned out very differently. But yeah, such a fun book to colour in. Do you want to get back into this book again next year? I've done that one so far. But yeah, I do really want to try and get these done. I'm thinking next year I might try and take part in Jess's over at Colouring Bumblebee's tag of tackling the title pages, because this would obviously kind of count for that, wouldn't it? Because that might be a nice thing to work on next year. But keep a lookout for my 2026 plan video once I've decided what my plans are for 2026, that is. But I should be sharing that before the end of the year, which is obviously fast approaching. So then we've got Alan Roberts' The Beauty of Horror, Giuliana's Sanctuary for Monsters. And it wasn't a full, well, technically it is a full page that we've done. It isn't too gory, but I will let you know once I'm not showing this anymore, in case you don't like a little bit of gore. But I'm really pleased with how this came out. So previously, with the same buddy, actually, we did this page, and then we decided on this page because we're like, fancy doing a buddy colour, but I was like, I can't commit to doing, a full page, especially as I kind of want to tackle each character through the book and work my way through the characters and then start to, kind of fill in the pages. But this one obviously is kind of standalone, so I thought, oh, great. So I used my Prismacolor pencils for this, and then went in with some gel pens for details. I think the blue on that kind of box coffin thing was acrylic markers. And I remember I kind of started with the scorpion being blue, and then thought, right, instead of doing a red kind of flower, I'll bring the blue over there to balance that. Did the heart, and obviously brought those colours over there. Kind of came up with, I think it was this bit I did next, actually. So I kind of got these bits and that, and I think I did that jar, but I hadn't done this bit or that bit, and I couldn't decide what other colours to bring in. So I've never done it before, but I took a photo on my phone and then put it into chat GPT on my phone and went, suggest some colours for the remaining elements on the page. Thought I'll just do it, see what it comes up with, because I don't know what to do. And then it suggested, how about teals, how about purples? And I thought, oh, actually, yes, that's a good idea. It was like I say, I think I'd got those bits done, the heart, but not the actual jar
and I don't think I'd coloured that, and I definitely hadn't coloured that vase. So that kind of made me add in the purple and then go in with the teal bits. And then I thought, actually, to balance it, I'll bring a bit of blue in the middle. So that was kind of the process for that. So I would suggest that, actually, if you've coloured most of the page and then you're not sure what to do, yeah, put it into chat GPT. It's a mouthful to say, isn't it? And that might give you some good suggestions, because I was pleasantly surprised, actually. And it broke it down into, oh, you could do this, you could do that, you could do that. There was a bit too much information, but I kind of skimmed through and thought, oh, actually, yeah, teals and purples. Yeah, I'll give that a go. I like that idea. And yeah, really pleased with how it came out. So it didn't take too long, especially because I, used the same colours in different points across. But yeah, really pleased with how that came out with my Prismacolors and, like I say, with some gel pens. Now, I haven't got my buddies page as of yet. I'm sure it's going to look absolutely stunning. So when I do get it through, obviously I can add it in. So I'll add it in here if it does come through before I finish editing the video, and if not, I can always share it in next month's video. But yeah, it was a pleasure again doing another buddy colour. So I know these books aren't kind of everybody's cup of tea. I'm hoping to work in it a little bit more next year. Like I say, I want to try and work on the characters. So, we'll see what that plan kind of looks like in my 2026 plans, but hopefully this book will feature a bit more next year, because it is gorgeous and it would be lovely to one day, many, many years from now, to have it finished. So you can look back now, because I'm going to move that out of the way. So that's all my buddy colours. But let's get into our buddy colours. So you can see here, I've got 2 copies of the same book, and it's because I received one for Christmas and my daughter received one for Christmas. So this is where that extra buddy colour kind of came in. So she picked a page, and she has done this one. I think she's done an amazing job. She's used her alcohol markers, and I love how she looked at that and thought, yeah, it kind of looks like corn on the cob, but she decided to make it into candy floss, hence the blue, pink and blue there. And I just think, yeah, she's just done such a great job, hasn't she? I mean, I'm a little bit biased. She's my daughter, I suppose, but I still think she's done a smashing job there. And then there's my version of it. So obviously pretty different, really. She went a little bit more kind of pastel tones, and then mine was a little bit more festive. But really like how both of ours turned out. We did sit and colour a fair bit of it together as well. So yeah, maybe give her some love down in the comments, because it's just amazing that she's finished a page and that we've done it together in our brand new book. So yeah, I use my alcohol markers as well, just a little bit of white gel pen, and then that was it in that one. And then I thought, right, do you want to try and make sure that I'm working on my title pages? I want to take part in that tag that Jess has done. If you've got my 2026 plans, you see my title pages are featured in there. So I thought, right, I'll make a start with a brand new book. So yeah, did that one. It's got a little bit patchy on his hat, which I'm not quite sure why. You can't really see on the camera, but it's kind of a little bit speckled, which it wasn't to start with, so don't know there. That, I think that was with my cheap old alcohol markers that I originally had. That I want to use them up. I don't want them to dry up and get wasted. And then we've got the book belongs to you page. So again, just alcohol markers, mix of my Ohuhu ones and then just my cheap old ones that I'm trying to use up. So nothing exciting there, but nice to get the title page and the book belongs to you page done, along with that buddy colour with my daughter. So yeah, that was a new addition to my collection at Christmas, Cocoa Wire Cozy Days. There is a flip through of that book on the channel as well, and keep a look out on the channel because we've got Flipanuary, so there should be each day a new flip through, as the name suggests, Flipanuary, a new flip through of a book. Some are ones that you may be seen on the channel in terms of completed pages or things, but got a little bit behind on getting some of the flip throughs out, and then also did receive some books for Christmas as well. So yeah, husband's idea. I was like, if you're up for editing that amount of videos, it would be much appreciated. So then we've on to another buddy colour here. This I did right at the start of the month, actually. And this was with Jess over at Colouring Bumblebee. and we did such a cute little page here. So I did mine on live stream, and I think she coloured along at the same time. So obviously she knew what colours I was using, we're seeing it on the live stream, but obviously I didn't know what colours she was using. So I love how kind of relatively similar in terms of, it's probably going to be a green tree, isn't it? But I know she did make a conscious choice to do the car different, and I just love how kind of similar but also different our pages turned out. Hers is so pretty. Obviously I'll pop a picture in here of hers. I love the colour palette that she went for, really pretty. So yeah, I did mine on live stream. It was basically all alcohol marker, and then on the kind of the bubbles I decided were maybe big blobs of snow, went around the edge with a blue Languo gel pen, and then around the more snowflake bits used a silver gel pen just to get rid of those black lines, and then just a gold glittery gel pen there on the tree. So I love that one. It didn't take too long to do. So I did a little bit of a glow there on the headlights, but yeah, it's a nice way to kick off the month. So that was done right at the start of December. So love that one. That was Cute and Cozy Christmas by Harry Alexander. Any books that I mention, if I can, I will link them down in the description below. They may be Amazon affiliate links if they're available on Amazon, but it won't cost you anything extra to purchase that way, but it does help to support the channel. Then we've got one of the gorgeous new books by Maria Trolle, or Trolle. I never know how you meant to say it. My maiden name had a E on the end, but it was silent, so that's why I normally go with not pronouncing the E, but I don't know. Anyway, did my first page in this, so it's great to get a page done and it also be a buddy. So it's with Jodie over at Jodie Moments. And let me find my page. Here we go. Let's get the wax paper out of the way. So I'll insert a picture of hers here. So obviously a fair amount of similarities. I mean, they're apples on the tree. I did think about doing them green, but then I thought, it's not very festive, and also, blends in a bit too much with the tree, doesn't it? So, yeah, similarities there with both of our pages. I think obviously she went for reddish apples. But I just love kind of the whole vibe, the whole feel of her page. It just looks amazing. So definitely go and check out her channel. I'll link it down in the description below. So it's the first time we've buddied together, and it was great fun. So I wasn't quite sure what would work nicely on this paper, but I decided to try my Inktense. And yeah, it turned out really great. I'm really pleased with it. So I did Inktense for the trees. Both those trees and the green tree and the apples. Basically everything was Inktense, apart from the snow. So I went in with some glittery paint there on the snow. Went in with silver and white gel pens on like the little icicle bits. Did some yellow watercolour on these kind of glowy bits. So it's a paint that I've had for ages, but I don't really use very often because it came in like a mixed bundle, like a mystery pack, from a company on Etsy called Honeybee Pigments. And they're gorgeous paints, but yeah, had this bright yellow one that came in it, and it's a lovely bright yellow, but just not a colour that I use very often. So I thought actually that worked really nicely there. And then went over the little black lines with a Languo gel pen, obviously outlined as well the red apples with the gel pen as well. Just felt they needed a bit of something extra. And then this gorgeous gold paint up here. Let me just double check which company's gold paint it is. So I've done lots of different paint this time. Yes, so the gold was from Dracula, as in Dracula, but Dracula over on Etsy. It's just so gorgeous and gold and shiny, isn't it? And then for the snow, I used a paint. It's actually called Snow, from Archie's Paints over on Etsy. Now, I believe she is kind of going to be shutting down her business. Currently, it is open though, and she's got some massive discounts on paints. I'm not sure whether she has still got that one available, but her paints are lovely. I've got loads of different ones from Archie's Paints. So I definitely suggest if you're after getting some more paints, maybe go and check it out, because I think she's got like 50% off or something crazy, like really good discounts. So yeah, I love that. I love using that one for snow because it's just so pretty. A little bit of subtle glittery shimmer to it. So and the sky, I've not talked about the sky. So I just used some chalk pastel, to be honest, in the sky there. And yeah, that was it. So it didn't take too long. Longest bit really was doing the paint and letting it dry before going over, you know, certain bits and pieces to make sure it wasn't smudged. But yeah, I love that one, and it's not gone through. It's obviously crinkled the page a little bit, but nothing went through because this paper is gorgeous. So great to get my first page done in this. So you finished it Boxing Day, started it earlier on in the month, and then yeah, just tinkered about doing the finishing pieces. So thank you very much to Jodie for the buddy. It was a lot of fun doing a buddy with you. Hopefully we'll do one again at some point. So yeah, that was the gorgeous new book, Seasons, there by Maria Troll. Then I've got another buddy colour, this time in a Hannah Carlson book. So as you see, I couldn't wait for the English version, so I've had mine for a couple of years now. Was it last year it came out, year before? All kind of blurs into one. But yes, brand new buddy colour here with Amanda over at Amanda Colours. So I'll pop her picture in here. I just love how she did the background. Just such gorgeous pattern in the background. And I just think that really makes like her gingerbread and all the, you know, the other biscuits and things just really pop with her background. I think she did a great job. So definitely go and check out her channel as well, because she's lovely. She does an awful lot for the community, such as, you know, coming up with the amazing colour planners that lots of us use. So yeah, it was great to do a buddy with Amanda. Hopefully we'll do one again soon. So I'll tell you about my page now. So as you can see, I didn't go, there was a couple of kind of traditional festive colours, like with the green and the red, but then I thought, I just wasn't feeling super Christmassy. Like I just wanted to try something a little bit different, hence why I ended up with these colours. So went for this. It was meant to be a bit more burgundy, but then I don't know what happened. I changed my mind, picked up the wrong pen. Anyway, ended up with this more purple background that was done with an acrylic marker pen. No doubt, I do really like the colour actually, even though it wasn't quite what I'd intended in the first place, but I do quite like it. I used my Castle Art gold pencils for the actual gingerbread, like the biscuity colour that you can see. And then everything else was acrylic markers. You know, for the green, the blue, and the red. I think I just used those three over all the different biscuits. And then all the shiny, I decided they were sweets. I wasn't sure if that was right, but I used some of my Sakura glaze pens there. So I used the red and the white one, and then kind of a purple and a pinkish one for the others. And then just went in with a white gel pen, just add a few dots on, because I just thought the flat background, once I'd done the rest of it, the flat background, it just looked a bit too flat. Staff sounds to say, so that's why I just added those random little white dots on just to break it up a little bit. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. It's a little bit fiddly trying to do all the pencil, you know, in some of these bits. I must have bit on there. I think I just coloured over the whole bit, knowing that I would colour with acrylic marker. I perhaps should have done that on more of them, but I think I did go around all those fiddly bits. So there's a lot of sharpening pencils there to try and keep a point to get around the fiddly bits. But yeah, enjoyed that, and always great to do a buddy colour. So thank you, Amanda, for the buddy. And then I think this, no, it's not my last buddy colour. I've still got a few more. So let me just pause and zoom out a little bit, because this, as you can see, is a massive book. So bear with. Right, here we go. Just about, still can't quite get it in, but I can't zoom out much more, else you're not even going to be able to see the page. So this was a new book to me. It was secondhand off Vinted, but really pleased to get my hand on this book that I've seen on a few people's channels. So it's the Book of Beasts, and it is ginormous. So I do at some point need to go in and kind of finish off this page. I'll probably stick with the colours that they've started with, but at some point I'll finish that off. But the page that I did with Vera over at Zufira Art, and I will link her down below, was this one here. And yeah, I remember when I sat down to do it, I looked and I went, oh, I don't know where to start. It was such a big page. And I didn't really have a vision of how I was going to do it other than a blue sky and the brown tree. So that's where I started. Started with the brown tree, did the blue sky, and then actually it wasn't too daunting then. I think I did the kind of the grass and the rocks at the bottom, because I thought, well, I know what I'm doing with them. And then it was the characters. But yeah, I quite like how it turned out actually. It was quite bright. I wasn't sure whether to make the characters bright or kind of like natural greens or browns. And yeah, this is where we ended up. So I had a lot of fun doing this, used an awful lot of different mediums. I actually used they're not Neocolour 2s, but they're like kind of a knockoff kind of budget version. These watercolour crayons. And I picked them up not last summer before, I think, and I don't use them as often as I should. I mean, I can't compare them to Neocolour 2s because, like I say, I don't have them, but I am quite happy with these. They do work pretty nicely. And there is, with having 36, there is quite a decent range of colours. So I use them to base the tree, the sky, I think the grass, the rocks, I think even the red bits, I used them. And on the werewolf as well, that purple. Oh, and the jackalope. And then I just went in with kind of various, I think, Inktense as well, then to finish it off in places. And some watercolour paint here on the clouds, and also some watercolour paint over there. On that, I decided it was a moon rather than the sun, with it being the werewolf, even though I've done more of a day sky, so a sun probably would have made more sense, but it's my page, it doesn't have to make complete sense, does it? So the paints I used, both of them actually, for the cloud and for that one, were from Dracula. So yeah, really pleased with how this turned out, and used a little bit of glaze pen as well, just on the eyes. So yeah, this paper worked beautifully. So I put quite a lot of different things on it, used quite a lot of water, and it's not even crinkled all that much actually, and certainly nothing went through. So yeah, really pleased with that, and pleased that I've done a page, so I'm not going to be quite so scared to work in this book again. So I'll show Vera's page here. She got hers done before me, and I just love, I mean, obviously there's kind of similarities in the tree, but I just love that the colours she picked for the other characters. I think it's really nicely balanced and just looks really, really cool, and always a lot of fun to buddy with you, Vera, so thank you. And I'm sure we'll do another page in some book, whether it's this one or another one again soon. So yeah, really pleased with how this turned out. But yeah, it's a very, very big book. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to work in. I definitely keep a lookout for it. If you see it secondhand and it's not too much, I suggest picking a copy up while you can. So thank you if you are seeing this and you have watched to the end and seen all of my buddies, my pages and their pages. So maybe let me know down in the comment which was your favourite page and why. Was it because the pages turned out similar? Was it because we both went in completely different directions? Is it just because it's your favourite artist, your favourite book? Be interesting to hear your thoughts. So as you can see, I've done the trees, and I'm just going to do the sky in this dark blue, and then off camera I'll come in, I think, with some paints, and probably just be my cheap ones, I think, from Temu, but I'll come in with like a nice shiny silver, I think, for the moon, and a probably gold for the stars. This paper obviously isn't the most amazing, but it is single-sided, so I don't mind if it wrinkles the page. So yeah, I tend to use my cheaper paints in these books, just because they seem to work better than kind of my more expensive paints. So yeah, nice shiny moon, I think, and some nice gold shiny stars. But I say I'll do that off camera, so don't have the steadiest hand, and I'll have to do the stars, let it dry, and then do the moon, or vice versa. But either way, I'll have to do one part, let it dry, because if not, I will definitely end up smudging the paint, and I don't want to do that. I am clumsy, and I'm trying really hard this year. It's not exactly a New Year's resolution, but I just keep trying to remind myself to not rush my pages. When I'm down to the last bits, normally when I'm adding, shiny paint, gel pens and things, it's the last finishing touches on a page.
I keep trying to remind myself of, you know, you've took so long to do a page, don't rush it at the end, be patient, do a bit, let it dry, come back to it, carry on, so it doesn't go a bit pear-shaped. So hopefully when you see this completed in my January video, for my January completed page, it will look lovely and shiny and there won't be random smudges everywhere. So keep a lookout for that and you can see how it turns out. But obviously, thank you again for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, but I would imagine if you've watched to the end, then you're probably, you know, a loyal viewer, loyal follower, and you've probably already clicked that subscribe button. But if you haven't, go and do it now before you forget. But thank you again so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.